This podcast is rated PG-13. Parents strongly cautioned. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast, where we're watching the best movies of all time according to IMDb. This movie this week is number 26 on the list. It is written, directed, and main acted by Roberto Benigni, and he got a Best Actor Oscar award for this movie. This is Life is Beautiful, came out in 97. Got a lot of hype and stuff. He climbed over people at the Oscars. That was pretty fun for people. This movie is, I don't know. Whose turn is it to go first? I think it might be TC's.
I like this one.
Yeah,
Nice.
Is this the highest rated foreign film from the IMDb list? Do we have any more?
Seven
non-English?
Samurai is higher.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, I like
that. Might be the only one.
I'm looking forward to watching that. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, TC.
I liked this one. It was it was good. It was interesting, and it got kind of sad there. Once the
Holocaust started happening.
Once the Holocaust kicked in, it wasn't exactly.
Yeah.
But they really did a good job of setting up the character, and you start to really get to like him. At first, I thought he was a little annoying, but then all of a sudden, I was like, he's kind of funny, and what they didn't show was like some other side of him. He was just that happy-go-lucky and seemed to really enjoy his life, and that's such a good way to set up what's coming for the second half. So, they really did put the character as far as possible away from where he was going to end up. And it was just so interesting, too, to he didn't have much, but he still loved everything about life, and even when he was getting, down and out, he still did that and still kept going and still stayed positive. And I think that was probably one of the better parts of it. It's not every day that we get to see someone just stay positive. When we're getting tragedy in the film.
It's because some people have issues with it, TC.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Not realistic.
I liked it.
Not
I liked
sad
it
enough.
I liked it a lot.
And have you ever seen this before?
No, I hadn't.
Oh wow, you somehow missed that. This movie was huge for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was this is one of the first foreign movies I ever saw. I think because my mom watched it when I was a teenager, and she's like, "You guys got to watch this movie. It's so good."
Yeah, I don't know. I never saw it. I never heard of it, so it was nice to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, I agree with TC. I seen it before. I completely and utterly forgot about the first half. The second half completely obliterated the first half. So in my mind, because I was like, I forgot how much fun this first part is, and I agree with TC. The character is he is very charming and funny, and it was just very enjoyable to watch the first half where he takes advantage of the coincidence. That was my favorite thing. How he was taking advantage of all the things that he knew that would happen around, like the key falling from the sky in his hat. That was just fun. It was just very. It was charming, and I mean, it's not like this film's it's not like we're watching this for the cinematography or anything. We're really just watching it for this character.
This movie doesn't have anything going for it, technically.
I don't.
Yeah,
but they have magic
think
keys,
so, and that's fine. It's okay. It's still very engaging. And it almost
it was set in a cool place.
It was. It almost has
had some cool scenery.
It does. No, but it has almost. It's almost like there's a fairy tale theater quality to it. It doesn't need to be super realistic. I think that's kind of the part of how it works. I think if they wanted to make it super realistic, or really make the sets super realistic, I think it would have taken away from this sort of. Almost fantasy, even though it's still dark, it's almost this fantasy quality of the film. And I think it works really well that way. This guy is sort of larger than life in the sense of how he is positive. He is the guy, he's like a Charlie Chaplin kind of character, like a clown kind of character, but in a very good way. Not a bad clown, good clown. And so
is Charlie a good or a bad clown?
I don't, well,
on screen, good clown. Off screen, bad clown.
That's right. It depends.
Clown, get out of there.
Yeah. clown. That's bad clown.
It's a bad clown.
Anyway, so I thought it was really good. I mean, it's not like, I guess there's people that didn't like the film in the sense of like, oh, well, you're making light of the Holocaust. And it's like, well, you know, you wouldn't say that, well, if you watch one film about the Holocaust, it should be this one by any means, but it just is a different way of approaching the subject.
It could be your first movie about the Holocaust.
Maybe, like, yeah, just
right, like introduce it to
in the
like
water.
a kid or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And even like Zone of Interest is another different way of approaching those events in a completely different way. That one's going for realism, but then shutting off, you know, but then not showing you any of the other side of it, right? And then this one is not going for realism either, and just going after. But to me, it still was very moving and affecting and horrifying. I mean, what was still going on? So I don't feel like, even though.
Did you just say the Zone of Interest was not going for realism?
No, it was. The Zone of Interest was. They were going for realism, but they were leaving off, like, what they were doing was completely segmenting that part off. Like, you're not going to see, you're only going to hear the actual things going on. And so you're just going to focus on, in as realistic way as possible, like their lives, the officers, right?
Okay.
So, no, I wasn't saying that.
Play the tape back, TC.
I was just talking for too long and starting to make sense. But no, in no way do I want to suggest Zone of Interest was not going for realism, because that really was what I was doing. So, but this film is again, it just has this sort of
it's the complete opposite. You said the opposite of what you meant. I think that's happened before.
I do it all the time.
Just flip it totally
gets
around.
me in trouble
180
all the
opposite.
time.
Got
Yes,
it. Okay.
Yes. It gets me in trouble. It's just kind of a quirk I have, you know, where I say the exact opposite of what I'm trying to say. Yeah, people are so not understanding of that sometimes. I mean, it just doesn't work well to say what I meant to say the exact opposite of what I just said, and sometimes people are still really angry. Anyway, so yeah, what else is there about the film? I mean, I was going to say other things, I don't know, but the boy was really good, and again, it was just very, very, very theatrical.
Was he really that stupid?
It's a fairy tale sort of fantasy part.
I don't think so.
I think he was older than he was supposed to be. He seems like too old to not get. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, it's again.
Yeah, like, oh, here come the scary men hide up top. Yeah. Like, you don't think that there's like? I'd be like, why?
Because why?
Yeah, well, I don't think. Yeah, certainly.
Points don't matter to me that much.
My kids would not be that well behaved.
There's no way.
I don't think
they'd be running around, jumping through.
Yeah. But I liked all the side character interactions were interesting. Him as a waiter was a lot of fun and interesting, and
I liked that relationship he had with the guy,
Princess.
The Riddles. I thought that was great. Yeah, the Riddles guy.
Yeah.
And then to see him come back later as the Nazi, it was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then he still just wanted him for riddles. That was what was even more fucked up, man. And that was just such a heavy hitting moment, I thought.
I was pissed.
Damn, he fucking.
He's like, I need you to talk in quiet. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get help. And he's like, nope, he just wants to tell you a riddle,
he
motherfucker.
Wants to tell you a riddle. I couldn't believe that. And that was like a hell of a writing mechanism there. Of like, oh, we're gonna just put you brakes right back on you, and you're just gonna have to eat it and be like, this is terrible. And the movie was so fun. And just to see him break down over that course of the couple hours there was just, that sucked. And then that whole ending, man. What did you guys think of the ending?
The very end, I'll save my thoughts. John, go ahead.
Okay.
The very end.
Okay.
I don't know if you meant very end or like end of the concentration camp thing, but I'll hold off either way.
No, the end.
John?
The end. I knew it was coming. So that I was dreading it the whole time because it didn't hit me as hard. But I thought it was effective. The very end again feels a little. Again,
neatly wrapped up.
Yeah, it's going for that kind of
unnecessarily voiced over
romantic comedy ending. But then just referencing that it was based on this book called "How I Beat Hitler," or something similar to that. Anyway, so that was a little strange. It seemed a little, but I don't know what else. Yeah,
I thought it was. I just when he gets shot, I was like, oh, come on, man. It's It's like, oh man, did you have? Like,
I mean, I don't want to. I like the
yeah.
positivity. So
Uh-oh.
this movie's weird. This movie's weird. I don't know. It's hard because I laughed in the first half an hour or first like 50 minutes or whatever it was, and like the first beginning part before the Holocaust. I was laughing pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny when he lost control of the car and was doing the Heil through the crowd of people.
Yeah.
I was laughing for like the first 30 seconds. Pretty good.
That was funny. That was funny.
When he was making shit up as a waiter, and he's just like, "You take the crust off the crustacean," like, and he just was making shit up. I was laughing at that. There were, a good number of parts in the first hour where I was laughing, and then it does the Holocaust thing, and it remains light, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how to describe why I don't like it, but it's like, I feel like it cheapens the whole thing or makes it easier to swallow, which I just generally, and I don't like dislike the way they do it. I think some of the emotional beats were like pretty good when he was playing the music over the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
I thought that was like pretty moving. But then I keep checking myself because I can't stop fucking thinking all the goddamn time and just circling around in my own stupid brain. Like, why is this so light? This is the Holocaust. It shouldn't be this easy. Like this, it's just like the topic itself. Right. It's kind of just slowly in the background irritated me that this is how they chose to do this second part of the movie. And it's tough because the movie itself, like if you like the way they do it, then that's great. And if it's like we've already seen a bunch of Holocaust movies, like we know what really happened. That's, not a bad thing.
I think that like,
that's the thing.
I think that because it's more about him rather than it's more about watching a character, a normal guy who's having a good life, go through something.
But he's not normal. He's a fucking lunatic.
No, but the Holocaust happened to be the thing that he was going through. And so it's like the Holocaust was not the focal point because his story was coming from a place of greatness. And so, it's not if you like what they did. It's more like if you're able to just say, okay, this is a story about this character rather than the story about the Holocaust, then you might be okay with it. But since you're kind of saying because it's the Holocaust, you just sort of have to give it more weight, I guess.
And I think a lot of people like this movie, and I don't want to. I don't know. A lot of the times, there's movies on this list that I'll be like, people who like this movie are stupid. But I don't think that's the case for this one. I just think my own personal taste is like, once the Holocaust started happening, I kind of want to see his spirit die. You know what I mean?
Right,
like I want to see
that seems unrealistic.
Some actual. Yeah,
and
I want to see some actual darkness. And even when he gets shot, I'm like, this isn't as sad as like some of the other parts of the movie where he's like, he wants to connect with his wife. That was the part that like got me the most. But then like his death, I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't really bother me that much. It's the Holocaust. This is what I expected to see, and they weren't showing it to us. They kind of talk. I mean, like when the kids died, they talked about it, and like they showed the pile of clothing, and they had that painted mural of all the bodies. That was pretty weirdly distracting, unrealistic. How they stacked bodies, vertically, 20 people straight up. Anyway,
yes.
I don't know.
Point was made, though. The point was made.
He found a pile of bodies, and he went the other direction. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I see what you're saying, Danny, and I guess I hadn't even thought about that. I was only watching the character's story, and it's really
not
good
at that.
Thinking about the rest of it.
Because I've seen this movie a few times, and I liked it more, I think, this time than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I thought it was boring for whatever reason, but this time, at least, like I could see, like even though I kind of didn't like it the whole way, like in my mind, I was still falling for like a lot of the beats in the movie. So like it was constructed really well to like lead you to those points and to kind of justify them within the movie.
Right.
So I'm not like 100% negative on it. It's just it's tough when I don't know. I don't feel like it should be done this way.
Yeah,
in the most general sense of the term.
It doesn't make sense that it's not realistic at all that he would keep the attitude that he has, or a lot of the things would happen the way they happened, or it doesn't. And in that sense, it's like, oh, what are you saying? That what about the people who did lose hope, which would be just about everybody? I certainly would in a situation like that. I mean, who, you could argue he was somebody who. His character, that's who his character was, though, was to entertain the people around him. And to sort of, that was his style throughout the whole film. So it still fit that's what he did. But I get that discomfort with it. Again, for me, it's just sort of embracing this as something not real, as fairy tale, theatrical.
But the Holocaust happened. That's the thing, right?
Yes, but
I have
no doubt, and I am, and with many of the other films and some yet to see, we still have Schindler's List. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
There is no.
That's the noise to make for that one.
There's no like doubt about the horrors of that. And so again,
and if you want horrors of war, you got plenty to choose from.
Right.
If you want funny fantasy in the terms of Charlie Chaplin, go watch one of his movies.
Right. So why do the combo? Right. Why do the combo?
Couldn't you also look at it though as like the positivity of the human spirit gets you through?
It's an idea.
These things like the Holocaust,
maybe, but his character is so unrealistic to me. Like it is the fantasy comedy, like Charlie Chaplin, over the top. Like no one would respond to a guy falling on them or like sucking their leg randomly.
Right.
Like all the interactions he has
That's
are super unrealistic. But it's like it's nice and light. And this guy is like, it's not trying to be serious. So everything in this first half is funny and fine.
But doesn't that mean that like it's okay to be unrealistic for the rest of it, or no?
Maybe, but I don't like it.
I mean, it does, right? I think it does. I think it kind of does. And I think if you're talking about just what the focal point of the story is, which is a character who's very positive, goes through one of the hardest things that we all know because we all connect that dot, and then you still see him be positive, and you see him do that in like the sense of a moral, father, and like all these things, and these are like those are the real parts that they're trying to talk about rather than just the Holocaust itself. But yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from. I don't think I thought about it that way.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the Holocaust was dark and bad, and if they had this fantasy that had him happy and everything, and they showed the Holocaust as being dark and bad, if it turned that way, then that would be fine to me. But the fact that they set up this happy world and then insert the Holocaust and keep the movie kind of upbeat is what bothers me. Like you can't take this super negative event and insert it into a super happy movie and kind of unchanged, without the tone changed.
But the idea
of the movie, that's fair.
It's fair. That's fair. I think you could say the idea is what you're trying to do is not. I'm sure they're not trying to at all sort of make light of the Holocaust by any means. I don't think that was in any case the intention here. In a way, just trying to
not make light, but it still deflates it a bit.
I know. I'm trying to say but trying to.
Do you think it's just because the actor is like such a?
Well, he's such a.
You know what I mean?
A star. He's so like the whole focal point.
He's Charlie. He's literally Charlie Chaplin.
Exactly.
There's the hat thing TC sent.
Right.
I know. They have hat jokes. They have multiple hat changing jokes.
I know. It's so true.
It pays off.
Eggs on the head. Multiple.
It was really good, actually. It was really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The hat changing. I loved it when he stole the hat. Guffawing.
Oh yeah, he stole the hat like twice, 3 times. It was a great
every time. Got funnier every time.
And then
I was like,
so I guess that's where that's where the juxtaposition is that you're complaining about, or not complaining about.
I think it's fair. I just don't know.
And I guess that's
But I did like it when it was happening. That's the thing. It's like the afterthought. Yeah. I liked the first hour, and I kind of liked parts in the second hour, but then I didn't. I mean,
the longer it went on, the harder it got. Right? It just did. It was harder and harder to watch because then you knew what was coming, and you weren't sure if they were going to get out of it or not. And I mean, honestly, they probably could have ended the movie if they had just killed everybody, like the reality was. But that would have been a pretty dark movie to see. And
guess who would have liked it more?
So I think,
yeah.
Because
I mean, by the end, part of the unsatisfying thing too is like the movie ends and the kid and the mother are happy.
Yeah,
the dad just died, but the end of the movie is that the kid, like, he has the voiceover and he's like, "This is my story. I survived and I found my mother and I got the tank. Hooray!" But it's like, dude, your dad just got murdered. Everybody in that thing got murdered.
Right.
That's the thing that just happened.
Thought,
why is this happening?
The mom certainly thought her kid was dead. So in that moment, you can see her
I did remember thinking that while they were on the tank, I was like, so you're telling me kid gets on the tank,
forgets about his dad?
Say, where's dad?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I totally get that. It was a little bit.
And John, they
it was
could have
just
put
to
it in
wrap
there,
it up,
right? Because he was happy when he saw his mom. But don't end the movie there.
Right.
Don't have that be the last
Right.
thing in the movie.
I get it.
It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
It was pretty easy. Yeah. Hey, mom, like contrived as fuck, just happened to go by on the tank.
And I had to think hard. I was like, was there a voiceover earlier? I'm pretty sure there was. Well, I think there
really?
was.
Was there?
I think so.
I don't remember
Do you remember?
any voiceover at all until that point.
Nah,
that
I could
was
have deja vu'd
really-
myself
You coulda.
into thinking there was.
I don't know if there was.
I don't
Because
think-
who would have been talking?
Even if
we
there was,
open up
it
on
was
him.
still,
No,
it
the
wasn't in
entire
there
time.
nearly enough.
There was no
right?
voiceover.
It just
There was
popped
just
in.
that one
I don't think
sentence.
there was.
Yeah.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's just bad. That's just bad. Come on.
That's just
It does feel
it's
like
just a hack
it feels
ending.
like
Yeah.
I can get it. Like it feels like this like screen tested bad, so they just say they edited something else in there that worked out well.
Yeah, for all we know, Denny, the intention was to slaughter them all, and
I
then
don't
here
know.
we are later.
Or just have the
This-
last shot be the one where he's walked behind the pillar, you hear gunshots, and the guy walks away, and the roll credits.
and
right
that's
there.
it. Honestly, you're right. That could have been it.
Yeah.
That could have been it. Yeah, that really could
I
have
would
been.
have
the
I
end
wouldn't
of
have been talking so much shit if that's the way it had ended.
Sure.
I'll tell you that
Well,
right now.
that's an interesting point though, because then yeah. Okay. Yeah, it does sort of it ends strangely in that sense. I don't know.
But the whole thing
it's
with the
hard.
movie is like it tries to keep the magic because the kid wins the tank, so it was true. We're like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to say right now, movie? It was
again-
fun when there was no stakes, but he just
No,
died.
I think what they were trying to say was that, you know, the fact that he was able to bring such positivity to such an awful situation, his child did not have to go through it and ended up in a much better position because of it. So the idea of having a positive attitude is really all the story's about. Because if you do that, then people around you will live a better life, and they may even survive something you don't.
Unless that positive attitude lets you be a little lenient when people are taking over your country and exterminating Jews, so you just kind of laugh and skip through the world until you're executed in a camp like he does.
Well, I mean, also
he-
one doesn't, he didn't quite know what was going on because he's from a village. So, I mean, at the same time, he wasn't,
That's true.
It's
touchy, man. I don't know. It's the movie's fault
you're
that does
right.
this.
You're right.
This
You're
movie
right.
does this.
You're right. And I think it's maybe like, maybe pick a different,
It is. It's just,
pick the plague.
I know.
That's
No one cares about the plague.
Let's go. Let's
happened
go
so
with
long
TB.
ago. You're right. That's a
or
good point.
something,
That would have been nice.
Polio. I don't know.
It is
like-
unfortunate because it's hard.
Can you imagine the end of this? Everyone's just coughing up their guts on the
yeah,
thing.
no, that's great.
And the kid's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey,
And
if you
then-
spit
yeah.
up blood, you get 100 points, kid.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, I can
mean,
totally understand
yeah.
why, liking this movie. Like, I
Well,
kind of liked it when I watched it.
does
It just
also-
made me a little upset in the background.
No, that's true. And it's a bummer because it's great to see really good comedic performances like this. And we don't get it that much. And they don't usually. I just like this is better that for the kind of humor that it was. It's as good as any I've seen, at least as far as this kind of like Charlie Chaplin-esque kind of main character clown kind of humor. I don't know what to call it, but it has that feel of it, like sort of the older style that we've seen
Vaudeville.
a lot of. But this was great in that, and it's a bummer that you have to weigh that against the second half of the movie and how that how that basically doesn't fit in the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, even Charlie Chaplin with The Great Dictator or whatever, it's not like they went and did much that was too terrifying in that film, if I recall correctly. So yeah, and I can't see him walking into the concentration camp with his little mustache and swirling his cane or something.
I mean, I kind of could.
No,
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin was outspoken against the idea of showing inside the camps and stuff
Yeah.
because he didn't think you could make it funny. And boy,
mean,
was
you
he
can't.
right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You
right.
can't.
You just can't. Right. It's never
I
going to be
mean,
funny.
Yeah, it was.
Can't tell Roberto Benigni, whatever his
Benigni.
name is.
Well,
He'll figure out a way to do it.
Well, and again, it's
Make $250 million, win an Oscar. Why not?
It's funny when he's making fun of like the scenes where they're. I mean, that initial scene where he was, he couldn't speak German. That was pretty funny, and he was pretending to interpret for the officer saying all the rules. But
yeah, that wasn't bad.
I know, but still,
It wasn't bad.
Yeah. It's a good point.
I mean, there's not much to say about this one.
No, there's not.
Okay.
If you're
Yeah.
13 and you've never seen a Holocaust movie, this is a good one to start.
Don't
on,
watch
maybe.
this one. Start.
No, it's
Just
probably
watch.
No?
Good.
Yeah.
No, you got you. What I well, because I'm
where
I'm
do
a
you
nerd, but
start?
You have to learn. You have to learn
Maybe
about
read
it
about
first
it
before
first
you
would be
watch
much
any
better idea, I
movies.
guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
I watched
learn the
Schindler's
history of it
List
first.
in high school. I had to
you know?
like sign a waiver and shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're like, you should watch Schindler's List.
Knowing how much movies and stuff tilts sort of what we believe and all the things. And John, you've mentioned this before, right?
Right.
That like our news is driven from these movies, and you're better off reading about it first, even if they don't pay attention to 90% of it. They'll get some of it first, and then they'll get the outline, and then when they go watch the movie, they'll know it's not in the outline.
I still don't know. So I don't really walk away with this belittling the Holocaust, or I don't know.
No,
I
it just didn't reference it appropriately. I guess is what kind of what Denny's saying.
Yeah, I think it softens human reactions. Like it makes it seem like it would be easier to get through than it actually would
right.
be
Maybe it
to
wasn't
get
so
through.
bad because even though
Yeah,
you got
it's
shot,
like, oh, you can do it. You just have to joke around the entire time.
You just
You're
have
like, I
to
don't
lift
fucking think
heavy.
so.
Yeah, you just have to lift heavy stuff.
Well,
Like,
Yeah,
no.
and even those scenes
Right.
of suffering, it was kind of just like way too on the nose. He's like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. And he's like, if you don't do it, you'll be killed. And he's like, okay, I can do it. And you're like,
I know
all right,
that
I
was
get it.
pretty. I know, and it was just like kind of ridiculous. Like as if that was, all the only thing that was going on, right?
And it's not like that needed to be spoken, but it did because of I think who this movie might be for. It's people that have need the.
Well, the people want
The
to
bad things kinda spoon-fed.
or one or two believe that you
Well,
can
true.
sort of the human spirit can conquer all, or there's something that they can't kill, something that they can't take away from you, blah blah blah. That sort of
And I
thing,
mean, I wonder if that's in the acting,
yeah.
because you figure the story wanted it to go south, but then like he was just so still himself from the beginning for like a good chunk of that second half. So maybe
The
it
whole
was
thing,
just
right?
like
he did the little
like
march
maybe
away
it
when he
was
being
like a
marched off to
little
be
bit
killed.
of direction issue going on where they
That's
weren't.
what happens when you direct yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
I'm doing
Like-
great. Thanks.
doing
Thanks.
awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And then turns out you're not being what, and then it's hard to know that because you don't have time to watch everything because you got to act the next day. Mm-hmm. And then it's on the cutting room floor, and you're like, I don't know what to do here. So then they end up with what they ended up with. They probably reshot some of that to figure it out.
Maybe.
But I don't know, man. I mean, you make all very good points.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I just
Some
want
of-
to emphasize too.
yeah.
I'm not like negative on it. It's just a weird movie that
It is a
made
weird
me
movie.
laugh a lot, made me feel like sad feelings like it wanted to, but then I came away being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you make a movie like that?
yeah, it's yep.
Is that 2 in a row? Did we watch The Professional last week?
Yes,
last
we
week?
did.
So it's 2
We
movies in a
did.
row. Why did you make it like that? Why did you have to do it like
well,
that?
I think we know in the previous film why.
We figured it out last time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't take too long. Too many Google searches to figure out what was going on
How
there.
uncomfortable that is, but yeah, I mean, it's like this
You're
is
going to love next week's movie, John.
based on my
Love
relationship.
next week's
you know?
Oh, what is it?
It's
What
a
is
double
it?
feature. We got Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey. Oh,
In
boy.
what?
The
In
Usual
what?
Suspects.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's gonna be good though.
I hope so.
It's a great movie.
Oh, it is.
Great movie. Couple
That's a
of
good movie.
molesters in there, but hey, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is a movie. I'm not watching him for anything else but story, baby.
All right, you got any
Yeah,
trivia or
blood.
anything else there, Denny? That's his wife.
Very little.
in
There's
real life.
no-
That's his wife in the film, by the way. His wife.
Yep.
His
No, you
wife,
took my one piece
Gotcha.
of trivia, John. Good for you.
His wife is his wife.
There are no special
That's
features on this Blu-ray, which was very disappointing. Actually, it was kind of nice because I didn't really want to watch it again with the commentary, especially since this guy wrote, directed, and acted in his own movie. If it was him, I've listened to the Mel Gibson one before, and it leads to
I
lunacy.
can't even
These people are
imagine.
out of their
Yeah.
minds.
They are.
But what I'd recommend is going and looking up a movie that might have ruined this dude's career. Roberto Benigni did he had a pretty solid career from the 70s to the mid 1990s, where this movie happened, and he was a household name for a year,
yeah.
if not longer. Like he was huge
Wow.
because of this. He's one of 3 people that have been nominated for Best Writer, Director, and Actor in a single year. Orson Welles and who was the other one? There was one other person, but he's like higher echelon dudes, like that's really hard to do, and this guy did it with this movie. But then the next movie he did was Pinocchio, and I would urge you to look up a trailer for this because I can't describe to you how weird this movie looks.
Okay.
I've not seen it.
But
you won't need to. Just watch the trailer.
It's got like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
Oh my God,
does
that
it?
bad?
It looks fucking weird.
It did well. It did well in
weird.
Italy, but it bombed.
It's because name recognition, you know. But he plays Pinocchio, this like skinny, old, wiry, bald dude plays a wooden boy. It doesn't make any sense. And he like prances around in like a weird pajama outfit with like a sleeping cap on. The whole thing looks fucking weird. I don't know. He probably just got yesed, after he, made $250 million. They're like, yeah, dude, you're a genius. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So then he did this, and it got panned. It didn't make any.
So
yeah,
he was in another Pinocchio. He was Geppetto in a 2019 version. That's not the one we're talking about here.
2002.
2000.
Yeah. So he reprised. Yeah, there's two, he's in two Pinocchio
Rotten
movies.
Tomato says 2019. 2002 is the one that he did that was awful. So 2019.
Right. He was Pinocchio in the 2002.
Right. He was Geppetto in 2019.
He didn't do. He was in it, and he was Geppetto. Yeah.
But this one has a tomato meter of 0%, an audience score of 33.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that's pretty
one.
difficult.
Yeah, it's 2002 one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a specialty right there. It's got to be intentional. Or no, you can't get to 0 while being intentional, because then some people will be like, "This is good camp.
Right.
This guy knew what he was doing. It was bad intentionally, and he did a good job."
I mean, there has to be somebody that, 0%. Something's off there.
No, dude, watch the trailer. I'm telling you. If you want to keep your job as a reviewer, there's no way you're fresh tomatoing that thing. You will lose your job in an instant.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. That's interesting. What else I got? There was, let's see. There's also footage of him crawling across people at the Oscars. That was very lowly entertaining. I didn't even think it was that good. He didn't even climb over that many people. When I heard he climbed over people, I thought he crowd surfed, but he just kind of like steps over one guy and then accepts the award. He was the fourth person to become nominated for Best Actor and Director. Oh, sorry, fourth person actor, director, and screenplay. Other recipients are Orson Welles for Citizen Kane, Woody Allen for Annie Hall, and Warren Beatty for both Heaven Can Wait and Reds. Look at Warren Beatty over there. I didn't know he did that shit. I haven't seen either of those movies.
We haven't seen any of his stuff.
Yeah. Have you seen those movies, John?
Heaven Can Wait a long time ago.
Not.
Like he's like a football player. Oh man, I don't even remember that. But like, yeah.
Should we watch those?
No.
Some Warren Beatty?
So.
No?
No.
You got a problem with Warren Beatty?
I don't really have an opinion right now. I just tend to.
I don't either. I know what he looks like, but I'm not sure I've seen him in anything.
I'm like, I was so confused on who he was, and then I looked it up. I'm like, I kind of recognize him.
Oh, he was Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I saw
He was
him in.
huge for a while. Like
With Al Pacino,
Dick Tracy,
that one in the 90s. Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde, Bugsby.
Oh, he was
Bugsy.
Bulworth. I think I saw that he was in the
Wow.
that music video, wasn't he? Because they had that Fuji song for Bulworth.
Oh, really?
Freaking Lauryn Hill was rapping, and Warren Beatty was in the music video. Pretty sure that was the
long
thing.
time ago.
Yeah, I know 90s Beatty. I'm not so familiar with the
Yeah,
late
not
70s.
well.
early
He's
80s
90
Beatty.
almost. He's 90.
Oh, he's still kicking it
now.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Gotta love it when people with lots of money live until their 90s.
Yeah. I mean, fuck.
What other trivia do I have here? Oh, I clicked through all my pages. Now I'm on the Warren Beatty page, guys. There's no going back. Nothing else was that good. This movie is like really surprisingly low amount of trivia on it. It's because it's one of those like I think it's an emotional pick. People give it a 10 because it's makes you feel real sad.
Makes it feel like it was about a real thing, but maybe you still come out of it feeling kind of uplifted. So
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was the intention, I think.
Yeah.
Would you put it in the top 250?
I don't.
It's always okay to say
No.
yes, John. It's always okay to say yes.
No, it's not. Sometimes you can say no. I would say no.
No, I don't think
would
this.
say
I mean,
no.
it just didn't have any of the other things that would be, in comparison to someone who is in that spot. There wasn't anything drastically amazing by the production value, or I wasn't
or
impressed.
the score
by,
or anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
there's
score.
nothing-
It won
Exactly.
best
It wasn't-
3 Oscars. It won best score.
Did it? I didn't even
And
know.
it won
wow.
Best Actor.
I did
Actor.
not
Well,
notice
I
the
can
score.
see that.
Really?
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that because it was unique.
It's
and
a
he was
Chaplin
much like
impression.
Chaplin.
That's, yeah.
So what?
It's not unique.
How many people can do that?
You just
well?
said it's
Not many.
unique and it's like Chaplin. That's opposite. Opposite.
No,
things,
I'm
MTC.
saying it's unique to be able to do that.
Oh, to pretend to be
To
Chaplin?
be like Chaplin, yeah, and actually pull it off. That's what I'm saying.
It's true. I also, that part of it's kind of just like, this is Hollywood just being like, hey, you paid homage to Chaplin. We love Chaplin. So we're going to give you some
you're
awards.
talking about the Oscars. All they do is circle jerk
Right,
themselves every
exactly.
year.
So
Yeah.
if you pretend to be Chaplin, you might get more attention
You're going to
from
win.
the Academy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that shocking?
Feeding the
That's-
monkey. It's not shocking. It's just I don't like it.
It's annoying, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's called Hollywood.
Yeah. What I did want to do is see who he was up against at this year's Oscars, because I feel like it must have been a kind of slow year.
Maybe.
Like, what if there's somebody on this list that was in another movie that we saw
That was good.
that was good and they did a good job?
Yeah.
And then this guy
Like
comes
Nicolas-
in
like
with eggs.
like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, this guy's
You know?
got eggs in his pockets. What is he doing winning awards
Yeah.
here?
Like Nicolas Cage. What's he doing?
What are you talking about? Don't talk shit on Nicolas Cage. Edward Norton, American History X. Nope.
Right.
No,
That was bad.
We
That
know
was-
that.
that
you
was
know.
bad.
But a
Cheesy as
similar
well.
film, kind of somebody, the star
kinda
being
was.
the center of the tension,
Yeah.
But
Ian McKellen, Gods and Monsters. Never saw that one.
neither.
Gandalf himself.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte, Affliction.
Okay, never heard of that one.
Never heard of that one?
No, I don't think so.
And-
I think it's like I'm assuming it's a alcoholism movie, but I was assuming that. 'Cause
Oh,
Nick
like,
Nolte-
yeah, like he has an
Goddamn.
affliction. Yeah.
All right, we need an alcoholic. Oh, Nick Nolte's already in the room. How did he get here so quick?
I've been here all night.
How you doing? You know?
I would love to see a Gary Busey biopic with cast as Nick Nolte, and then vice versa, a Nick Nolte
Oh, that
biopic
would
with
be
Gary
funny.
Busey. Yeah, double feature.
They're so similar.
Yeah. The other one was Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, wow.
So Saving,
And then Saving Private Ryan didn't win Best Picture either, right?
Life is
'Cause-
Beautiful won over Saving Private Ryan, which is interesting.
And then Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture. That's a shitty year for the Oscars right there.
That film that
Well,
nobody
there you go.
talks about
Someone got
anymore.
fired that year, you know? No big deal. We'll move along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you fire members of the Academy? Aren't they like all
I don't
producers
fucking know.
and stuff?
Who knows?
They're the ones with the money. They can do whatever they want.
That's right. Just rich people with cash.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm going to point out again that we have yet moved the bar a little closer to number one. All of us say no to this one. We're going to keep track of where the last movie was on the ranking. Where
That
all
we
of us
all
were
say
like,
yes?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I mean, 250 is a lot of movies. This isn't the top 30. And we're saying, get out of the
we
top
know this.
250.
I mean, I feel like I've said this recently, and I'm just going to keep saying it every, this list is bogus. We know it to be true. I think that we have figured that out. This list is at times unreliable.
This one makes sense, though. This is going to be the case for Shawshank, too, I think, because this is like the emotional pick. Because I
It
feel
is.
like first time
Okay.
you watch it, you're going to come out with like, that made me feel things. And it was sad, but I also feel good. So, like, that's good. I feel good. So then you
That's
give it a
good.
10 out of 10. So,
Yeah.
so, it doesn't matter. Most people that vote for this stuff aren't like, that's why next we're going to go for the friggin' Palme d'Or winners where they actually rate this stuff. Yeah.
Hey,
But,
so let me just I was just poking around at different reviews. I was trying to see if there was any quote from Spielberg on this film. I'd just be interested to see if.
You were just looking randomly to see if Spielberg had a quote on this movie? And you found one.
No. But I can. I
was
can
gonna
leave-
say that
What
was
a
amazing.
Stupid.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but I can leave with what,
That would've been
what
awesome.
Roger Ebert said about the film, which is
Oh, okay. That's
back
good.
then,
That's
right?
second. That's runner up.
He's good.
Yeah.
So he said this movie actually softens the Holocaust slightly to make the humor possible at all. In the real death camps, there'd be no role for Guido.